The war changed the moment the Crescantian Corsairs set sail. Taealar was spread thin. In the east, their troops under the Taean banner were failing to the Chaharian forces. In the west, the Zedan rebels were slipping through the Taean fingers, and in the north, the Imataridans were sending pleas of help as the Drœnlandi Vikings were attacking their fields. With very little left at their disposal, they counted on one thing: money. And the king of Taealar sent to the Great Crescent. Now, who actually are the Crescantian Corsairs, as well as the other outcasts in Season 6, Days of the Forgotten? The Great Crescent is home to many outlaws. It started as a fairly small place with a few outlaws here and there, mostly from Taealar and Chahar. But that soon grew into an empire of corsairs and pirates. Many types of people can be found in the Great Crescent. We have dwarves from along Hull, elves from Drønlandi, even though a few. You can even find a few Drønlandi orcs now and then. But the ranks of the Crescantian Corsairs are mainly filled with the Chaharians, the Taeans, the Drønlandi, and the Zedans. Their capital city is Yárroans, and there are a few cities around the Great Crescent, but most of the Great Crescent is split into factions of ships headed by captains, and these captains fight amongst themselves constantly for what is called the Crown of the Crescent. Now, the Great Crown of the Crescent is fabled. Nobody really knows if it actually exists, but everybody is certain that it does, and was long ago lost somewhere in the Great Crescent. The leader of the Great Crescent is ever-changing. In fact, the captain, who is now called the crowned captain of the Great Crescent, was only crowned just a few years ago, and many believe that that will soon change. It is a land of constant fighting, turmoil, disunity, theft, and if you ever go there, you should watch your back. But when it comes to the rest of Aetos, it is the Great Crescent versus the world. And despite all of those things, the Great Crescent is one of the wealthiest nations in all of Aetos due to their pillaging and plundering. Now, who are the type of people you could expect to see in the Great Crescent? I mean, I already said lots of humans, but you can also find elves and dwarves, and most everybody is a pirate, a pickpocket, a thief, or an outlaw of some sort or another. Now, across the sea and across the southern continent of Aetos is Yárrow. Don't you see it? It's right. It's obviously right there. No, I'm kidding. It's a little bit hard to see. I'm trying to work on drawing it. I haven't done Zedan and Meraxan yet, which sucks, but I am working on that. So who actually are the Yárroans? Yárrow is home to half-breeds, half-orcs and half-elves to be specific. Quite a few decades ago, the half-elves and half-orcs were cast out from their homelands for differing reasons. The elves saw them as impure and detestable, while the Drønlandi saw them as weak and also detestable. And so, over time, Yárrow, which is this small peninsula here, slowly became a haven to those cast out from Drønlandi and Gendron. They sailed from Drønlandi and from Gendron and made their home in the small peninsula area. Now, Yárrow has been recovering from a recent civil war, but rumors are spreading of something happening in Zedan. So that brings us up to speed, right? The Crescantian Corsairs are attacking Zedan. Well, yes, but let's rewind a little bit and see what exactly happened in Season 5, last season. Last season started with the introduction of Meraxan and Zedan. Meraxan, the Orats, tree people, began encroaching upon Zedan, kind of. At least that's what the Zedans thought, and so the Zedans attacked the Meraxi, both for wood and for land, and the Meraxi responded. Even though the Zedans were strong, the victory did go to Meraxan. Away to the north, the Chaharians were making great strides in the war against Taealar, but something changed. They had help from Gendron, and the Gendroni were how the Chaharians were able to go so far into the Taean land. In fact, the Gendroni were how the Chaharians claimed the Dominion Tree, which was a very strategic point in the war between the East and the West. But things suddenly changed when the Gendroni attacked a Chaharian traveling party, resulting in the Gendroni rebellion. But coincidentally, while Chahar was winning a battle versus Gendron and saving a Chaharian general, the Drœnlandi attacked northern Gendron. They had been planning to for a while, and after a hiccup between two Drœnlandi Viking factions, they eventually attacked the north of Gendron and claimed a city, meaning that Drønland and Des have attacked Chaharian soil. Even though it is the vassal state of Gendron, Chahar still owns that land, and that will complicate things between Drønland and Chahar. But as these things in the north were happening, arguably one of the most pivotal things in Aetosian history was happening down in Drønlandi. The story goes that a wealthy man and his group of farmers discovered a new type of tree in the forest of Bellone, and this tree had strange properties. When it was cut up, it began to float, and the farmers created many interesting machinery for their farms, but the wealthy man had an idea. Over the next few months, he created a ship made out of this material, and the ship began to float. And so the wealthy man went to Lena Desert Hill and showed this new ship to the king. These ships were eventually sent to the Canyon of Cern, floating over the canyon and helping the Drønlandi fight against the Alani invaders. Now, unfortunately, that first battle with the airships did not go quite as planned as the Drønlandi had hoped, and they ended up losing a few of their own. But those ships will change the course of the history of Aetos. And that brings us to Taealar. Taealar is the center of attention right now. Zeda was fighting against Taealar. Imatrida demanding the help of Taealar and fighting against the Drønlandi attackers. Chahar was taking Taean land. Alankul, their allies, weren't quite helping the Taeans as they needed to defend against the Anin in the south. So the Taeans called upon the Crescantian Corsairs. And now that the Taeans are free from Zeda, they will be able to send their forces to Imatrida, to Chahar. And who knows what they will be able to accomplish. So let me know in the comments which faction you decide to choose. Will you be part of the Great Crescent? Will you be part of Yárrow? Or maybe you'll just stick with a faction that you already chose. Or maybe you'll just choose a different faction. I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys decide. And if you haven't already, check out the Discord where you can join the factions and partake in weekly quests to further the influence of both yourself and your faction. If you would like to help support this project of Aetos, please check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.